In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at how to install the ProcessWire content management system on a Linux Ubuntu 22.04 LTS server. So ProcessWire CMS is an easy-to-use, user-friendly content management system that is designed to make content publishing easier and faster. So let's take a brief overview of the steps covered in this tutorial. So first, I'm going to show you how to download and install the LAMP stack. Second, I'll show you how to connect to the MariaDB shell and create a database for ProcessWire. Third, I'll show you how to download the ProcessWire CMS and create an Apache virtual host. Fourth, I'll show you how to complete the ProcessWire installation wizard. And finally, I'll show you how to install and configure a Let's Encrypt SSL certificate. So let's begin the setup process. So I'm going to use the Amazon Web Services EC2 service for this setup. So open the EC2 dashboard and then click on the Launch Instance button. Give the instance a name, scroll down and then click on the Browse More AMIs link. Click on the Marketplace AMIs tab and run a simple search for Ubuntu Jammy. Press enter and then click select on the returned Ubuntu 22.04 LTS Amazon machine image. Click on continue and you should then return back to the launch instance wizard. So I'm going to proceed to select an instance type. So scroll down to the instance type section. Select the T2.micro instance type or any other instance type that you'd like. Scroll down and then click on the create new key pair link. Give the key pair a name and then select a key file format. So in this case, I'm going to choose a .pem file format. But if you're using Windows, you can choose the .ppk file format. So scroll down a bit more and then select the allow HTTPS and allow HTTP traffic from the internet options. And then on the configure storage section, I'm going to give this instance a virtual disk of about 50 gigs. So the instance is actually now being created. And once the instance creation process is complete, return back to the instances page and click on the instance ID. Click the connect button and then click on the SSH client tab. Copy the connection URL and then open up your terminal application. So I'm going to move into the downloads directory and change the permissions on the key pair file to read-only. So paste in the connection URL and then press enter. So you should now see that you've successfully connected to the instance via SSH. So type in the command sudo su to elevate your access rights to the server to the root user, and then type in the command apt update. So this should then go through to then update the system repository. Note that this can take a bit of some time and it depends on the performance of your internet connection. Once that's done, the next thing that I'm going to do is to paste in a command that will install and set up the LAMP stack. So this command will actually install the Apache web server, MariaDB, as well as PHP and the needed PHP extensions. So simply wait for the installation process to complete before you can then proceed to the next step. So I'm just going to clear the command line interface and I'm going to execute the command systemctl start Apache 2. So this will just start the Apache 2 system service. And then next, I'm going to execute the command systemctl start MariaDB. And then finally, you just need to also execute the command to enable MariaDB and Apache to start at system boot up. So repeat the process for the Apache 2 service as well. So let me just change that start to enable. So when you execute that command, it'll actually tell the server to start the Apache 2 and MariaDB system services at system boot up. Proceed to type in the command sudo mysql secure installation. This will actually launch a script that configures security settings and allows you to set a password for the root account, remove anonymous user accounts, delete the test database, and also reload the user privileges table. So respond to each question as I have done, and then type in the command mysql u root p. So when you press enter, type in your MySQL password, and you should now be connected to the MariaDB shell. Type in the command create database, and then specify the database name that you'd like to use for the ProcessWire CMS. Then you then need to proceed to type in a command to then create a user as well as set the necessary and appropriate permissions to the ProcessWire DB. So you just simply need to type in the command as I am doing, and once you've done that, you then simply need to flush the privileges table and then exit out of the MariaDB shell. So type in flush privileges and then type in exit. Okay, so we've successfully set up an empty database that will be used by the ProcessWire CMS. So the next is to download the ProcessWire CMS from the official GitHub page. So as you can see, I've downloaded that master.zip file. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to paste in a command to unzip the master.zip file. And then let me just clear my screen once more, and then I'll just remove, or I'll just delete the master.zip file. So next, I'm going to move the ProcessWire directory that we've extracted to the default Apache virtual host directory. So just going to put that into a directory named vh_processwire. So I'm going to move into that directory, and if I run an ls command, you actually see the ProcessWire web application files. So next, I'm actually going to execute a command to set the necessary permissions on the vh_processwire directory, as well as to change the owner to the www data user and group. I'm going to create a processwire.conf configuration file and paste in some configuration that will tell Apache of how to load the CMS. Then I'll move into the sites available directory and run the command a2 site and then specify the processwire.conf configuration file to actually enable the virtual host. Let me run the ls command to check the directories that are within the current working directory. And I'm just going to move into the mods available directory. The ProcessWire CMS uses some rewrite rules. I'm just going to enable the rewrite module. So type in the command a2 mod and then specify rewrite. Finally, I'm then going to restart the Apache 2 system service for the changes to take effect. If you run a status check on the service, you should see that it is actually marked as active and running. So next, I'm going to copy the public IPv4 IP address for the instance and then move into the Route 53 service. Click on any one host zone for a registered domain names. This will open all of the DNS records for the domain. So I'm going to edit the A record for this domain and paste in the IPv4 address for the ProcessWire instance. Return back to the SSH connection that you set up to the server and then execute the command hostnamectl, set hostname, and then specify your domain name. Next, edit the etc host configuration file, and then I'm just going to type in 127.0.1.1. Type in your domain name and then your domain at the end there. So press Ctrl or press enter and then press Ctrl X to exit out of the config file. So next, I'm going to edit the etc and then cloud.cfg configuration file. In this file, set the preserve hostname parameter to true and then save the changes. So once you exit the file, restart the instance so that all of the changes will actually take effect. So if you browse to the domain name pointing to the server, you actually notice that it's loading the Apache default page. We open an SSH connection to the server and then move into the Apache sites available directory. Run the command a2 this site and then specify the 00default.conf configuration file. Type in the command systemctl reload Apache 2 for the changes to take effect. So if you reload the page, you should actually now see the ProcessWire installation wizard. So click on the Get Started button and then select blank. Select Continue, and then you should now see a compatibility check. So click on the Continue to Next step and then specify the MariaDB database that you created earlier. So in my case, the DB name is going to be ProcessWire DB, the DB user is going to be ProcessWire user, and I'm going to type in the password there. So once you've typed in your password, scroll down and then select a time zone. So I'm just going to choose my time zone, and then I'm just going to make a change to the HTTP host. So once that's done, click on continue and you should see the message database connection successful. Scroll down and then specify an admin panel URL. So in my case, I'm just going to use admin. Specify a username and a password for the admin account. And then once that's done, you then need to also specify an email address. So let me just type in one of the email addresses that I usually use for installations like this. And once that's done, scroll down and then click on continue. Okay, so you should now see that the setup is complete and you can actually log into the admin dashboard. So type in the username that you specified during the setup process, as well as the password, and then click on login. And you should now see that you've actually gained access to the ProcessWire dashboard. From here, you can actually start creating your custom pages, and you can even import some custom skins and designs to quickly set up your site. But you'll actually notice that the connection is actually marked as not secure. So we need to correct that by installing a Let's Encrypt SSL certificate. So reopen an SSH connection to the server and then type in the command apt install certbot. So that should then go through to then install the certbot utility that is actually used to request for SSL Let's Encrypt certificates. So once that's done, you then need to execute another command to install the Python 3 certbot Apache add-on. So type in enter Y on the prompt, and then you should have that add-on installed. I'm going to initiate the certificate request process by running the command sudo certbot apache. Type in an email address and then you then need to press enter. So once you've done that, you should now see another prompt asking you to agree to the terms of service. So I'm just going to type in Y and press enter on each prompt. So it's detecting the wrong domain name here. So I need to make another modification to the ProcessWire.conf virtual host configuration that I created earlier. So I'm just going to open the file now, and there's a slight change that needs to be made. So I'm going to edit the server name parameter, and I'll actually set that to the domain name that we actually pointed to this server. So once you've done that, certbot should then be able to detect the correct domain. So press Ctrl or press enter and then press Ctrl X to exit out of the file. So I'm just going to restart the Apache system service for the changes to also take effect. So rerun the sudo certbot Apache command, and you should now see that the utility has detected the correct domain. Enter 1 to select the domain and then press enter. So that should then go through to then request for the certificate for the correct domain. Once the request process is complete, if you return back to the browser and refresh the page, you should now see the connection marked as secure. So let me just click on the lock icon so that we can view the certificate details. If you also move into the ProcessWire dashboard, you should also see that even the connection to the dashboard is marked as secure as well. So that's been it, guys. That's a quick look at how to install the ProcessWire CMS on a Linux Ubuntu server in just a few simple steps. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and please also share this video with your peers, colleagues, and friends. I hope this tutorial has been informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.